Dust on the sensor. In film days, cameras worked remarkably similar to how they work now, but with one major difference. With film, we wound a fresh piece of film into place behind the shutter after every shot. So any dust that may have been on that frame of film was wound on with it, being replaced with a fresh piece of film. Now that's not the case with digital SLRs, because the sensor remains in place all of the time. Dust in the air has always been an issue with photographers. It would find its way inside the camera and adhere to the film. It would record on black and white prints as a tiny white speck that often we spent some time retouching. On colour slides, the dust showed up as black specks, which were a bit more difficult to deal with. Dust is still a problem today because our digital film, the sensor, never moves. So every time the SLR user changes from one lens to another, we leave the inside of our camera body open to potential dust. The results of these tiny bits of dust on the sensor is that they appear as small ghostly circles on our images. And if we use a small aperture, the dust particles tend to be a little more defined in the image. Now there is one area of confusion, and that if you see tiny spots or a small hair as you look through the viewfinder, those marks are not actually on the sensor, and they will not appear on your images. Those small spots are on the focusing screen in your SLR, and while they can be annoying, we can actually ignore them, safe in the knowledge that they're not going to affect our images. The focusing screen is tucked way up in that pentaprism, the top part that you can see here just behind the name Canon. The dust spots that concern us most can't be seen until the image is viewed on the computer. So let's take a look at what we're up against. The good news about the dust spots we are almost certain to get if we're an SLR user is that they're very quick and easy to deal with, and I would suggest probably at least 1 a second, possibly even faster than that. All of the image editors that I can think of give us tools to deal with dust. But what I've got here is a raw image. It's an untouched raw image opened up in Photoshop, so it's been intercepted by Adobe Camera Raw. But of course, when we see the image at this size, it's very difficult to see any dust spots at all. And the places you're likely to see them most is in even tone. So up in that top right corner in the sky, in fact I can see 1 or 2 even now, and also maybe in the smooth water under the bridge, or on wet sand is another area where I've found they often show up. But 99% of the time you're going to see them in the sky. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to my zoom tool at the top here, and I'm going to double click it because that brings my image up to a 100% magnification. And I'm going to move up to that top right area with a click and drag, and now I think you can see quite a few little dust points here, look, and the more we look the more we see, but in actual fact they're going to take seconds to deal with. So the tool I'm looking for in Adobe Camera Raw is Spot Removal. That's this tool here, and when I select it I get an opportunity to adjust the brush, and over here I'm just going to use the standard healing. Let's take the worst one first and just click, 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 and you can see just how quick I can fix these little marks in the sky. And what you may also notice as they gradually disappear is down at the right hand bottom corner I've got a little box that I can tick to help visualize spots. Now I don't want to worry you too much when I tick this box, but now we can see considerably more. These are those that are hardly visible in the sky, and I can hide those little rings with a touch of the keyboard, and as you can see, this really wouldn't be a major disaster because I can move around these and in, I don't know, 30-40 seconds, minute at tops. And this particular sensor, when I took this picture, it was a long time from its clean, so it was probably at its dirtiest or its worst. So I'm clicking now on to dust spots that we probably will never see, but I want to do it to demonstrate to you just how quick and easy they are to do in any image editing software. When I come back and untick and we hit Control 0, we'd have a good result. Now I have heard some photographers moaning about dust spots in the sky, and when I asked how many they've got, they say 6. Well, it's just not worth cleaning the sensor for 6 dust marks. You see how quick and easy it was to repair them. Because we can buy a kit to clean the sensor ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with those. Follow the instructions and they work okay. But the problem with dust that most people find is you can remove most of it, but some of it you'll just push around. So don't clean the sensor until you really have to. Another way to deal with dust spots is to search the internet, because somewhere close to you there's almost certain to be a service available, a professional service which offers to clean digital SLR sensors. That's the route I've been taking just lately because they do a much better job than I'm able to do myself with the home kit. Now from memory I believe it cost me 60 Australian dollars. We're talking in 2017, so what's that? Something like 35 UK pounds. You know, if you had that done every year, that wouldn't be a huge amount of money to keep that sensor as clean as you possibly can.